Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Wednesday, February the 1st, 2023. My name is Stephen Carnegie, and welcome to This Is Just a Thought. Today's word of the day, nebulous, which means indistinct or vague. Nebulous. Hope everyone is enjoying their Wednesday midweek swing. Here we are. And it's the 1st of February. Man, January is gone already. Wow, where did the time go? Of course, it's February. It is Black History Month. Wow. Like I said, January. Where did January go? Just wondering. Man, well, the weather here in North Carolina, man, well, the sun isn't shining. Just like pretty much a large portion of the United States. We've been getting rain, and it's going to rain pretty much all week. It dies off sometime this evening, but tomorrow, overnight, it's going to start back up again. Yeah, in certain parts of the United States, they're getting hammered from Texas all the way up to upstate New York or New Hampshire or Rhode Island. They're getting hammered in that part of the United States with sleet and frozen rain. Wow, in Texas. How about that in February? Wow, just wow. So we're getting rain. Like I always say, I'll take that as opposed to the other side. The snow and sleet and freezing rain and those cold frigid temperatures. But temperatures are expected to drop off starting tomorrow and the weekend. We're supposed to be up in the upper 30s, I believe they call for Saturday. Wow. Well, is the winter time. You never know about those this weather pattern. Man, especially here in the South. It changes so much. Just does. All right, let's talk about it. I haven't been up here in a while. I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys about those that AFC and that NFC championship games. The Super Bowl set. It's set. It just is. There were some upsets. I certainly didn't see it coming. Man, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We're started off with the NFC title game. Wow. San Fran. What happened? The Eagles beat them 31-7. That's right. San Fran could only put 7 points on the board. Man, that third string quarterback, final draft pick, got injured. Yeah, they're saying he's going to be out for 6 months with that elbow injury. If you saw the game, man. After that, after Purdy was out, it went downhill for San Fran. It just did. It looks like they were trying to fight for a little while, but Purdy went out. Then they had to go to a fourth-string quarterback. Man, what a crazy season for the 49ers. But I got to admit, the season wasn't a total bust. I mean, like I said, one quarterback went out, Trey Lance. Jimmy G went out. And then they had to go to the third-string quarterback that carried them the rest of the season, and he did a pretty good job. Third-string, final pick in the draft, Purdy. Until he got injured in that championship game, then they brought in the fourth-string quarterback. I believe his last name was Jackson. I don't remember his whole name. He didn't do so well. Fourth string, of course, he didn't do so well. Yeah, he didn't do so well. It didn't look so tough. Man, but if there was a question, or if someone was still questioning if Jalen Hurts could make it in the NFL, because coming out when he came out, coming out of Alabama, a lot of people were saying, nah, he's not a franchise quarterback, he's not an NFL quarterback, he's not this or that. I think you guys are going to have to backtrack. You're going to have to eat crow, because he proved that he's here. And he's here to stay, and he is worthy of being a starting quarterback in the NFL. Had a good season. He got hurt, came back, and still was able to help his team to the not just the NFC Championship, but the Super Bowl. So I don't think there's any question now. We know Jalen Hurts is it in the Philadelphia Eagles. That threw me. Hey, like I've been saying the entire year, I predicted San Fran to make it to the Super Bowl. I just did. But they can only get 7 points on the board. And the Philadelphia Eagles fly. They pulled it off out of that NFC East. Still haven't heard anything from the Cowboys fans. They're still mums. Oh, boy. And let's move over to that AFC Championship game. Wow. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Kansas City on again, off again Chiefs with Mr. Magic Man himself, Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs won 23-20. Last second field goal. They pulled it out. And you know, hey, I have to admit, once again, I strongly believed or thought that it was going to be the Cincinnati Bengals with Burrow. But old Joe Burrow couldn't pull it off. The Magic Man, Patrick Mahomes. Now, there was a lot of trash talking building up for that game. Even Cincinnati's mayor chimed in. He called Arrowhead Burrowhead. As you know, Joe Burrow, he did own Arrowhead. And it looks like he lost it this past Sunday. Because the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I ain't even making a prediction on this one because I don't know which way this is going to turn. This is anybody's game. And this is going to be a great Super Bowl. Just is. You know, like I've said so many times, I just don't like to see these teams that dominate year after year after year. They're always there. So it's a little bit of shakeup. Like I said, Jalen Hurts, at one point in time, he was thought of or believed that he wasn't a top-tier premier quarterback that belonged in the NFL. Certainly not starting. Look at him now. And then Patrick Mahomes, you know, last week, he got injured. But he came out. He showed no signs of being injured with that high ankle sprain. So this is anybody's game. Now, no predictions from me. None whatsoever. I can't give it to you. Hey, just sit back and watch and enjoy like I'm going to. We'll see what happens. Well, of course, you know, also with the Super Bowl comes the Pro Bowl. And there, of course, this year they're going to be playing flag football. Ooh. How exciting. I can't wait to see that. Like I said, I don't think I'll be watching the whole thing. I just don't. I mean, hey, like I said, you got to protect those top-tier athletes. You pay them a lot of money. And with all these concussions and injuries going on in the NFL, I guess this is the alternative. They don't want to put them in full pads, contact. So they're going to do a little flag football. And, of course, you know, the skills portion. The NFC is going to be coached, I believe they said, by Eli Manning, and the AFC is going to be coached by Peyton Manning. The Manning brothers are going to be coaching first ever Pro Bowl flag football. Wow. We'll see what happens with that. We will see what happens with that. Hey, I wouldn't call it controversy, but Sunday night, I believe it was the Los Angeles Lakers. They were playing Boston, and LeBron apparently got fouled, and it wasn't called. It was a foul. It just was. And of course, you know, folks, the commentators, of course, the Laker Nation, LeBron, and the rest of the Lakers, they all chimed in because, of course, because that foul wasn't called, the Lakers ended up losing the game. It was fairly late or close to being over, and they were saying, hey, if he could have got that foul and got to the free throw line, they could have won the game. Or how about this? Now, we know a lot of the refs, they do miss calls, and the NBA admitted, hey, they missed the call. Just did. But how about this? Perhaps if you guys hadn't played so horrible, you wouldn't have to play from behind and rely on fouls to win a game. Yeah. You guys were playing from behind. It was close. Been playing from behind the whole game. So LeBron got fouled. They didn't call it. Celtics won. It just is what it is. Hey, I'm a Lakers fan, but I'll be the first to admit Lakers aren't looking so tough this year. They just aren't. I'm not too sure if you can put the whole blame on one game and one officiating team. Because like I said, you guys played from behind. You played horrible. You've been playing like you've been playing the entire year. So you guys lost that game on Sunday, then you came back Monday or Tuesday night and you lost to the Brooklyn Nets. What was it, bad officiating again? Or were you guys just playing horrible? Like you've been playing all year? Yeah. You guys are playing horrible. Like you've been playing all year. Just work. Yeah, the refs missed the call, but man, you guys were behind anyway. And if you saw LeBron, oh man, he was so distraught. Thought he was going to knock somebody out the way he was swinging, and God, man. Hey, it is what it is. You guys played from behind the entire game. Got close. Didn't get the foul you wanted. You just did. Man. All right, let's move along here. That's enough of that. Can't wait to see that Super Bowl, though. I just can't. I got to see that. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And of course, they're hyping it up and they're billing it as the first time in NFL history 2 black quarterbacks will be vying for that top spot. We'll see what happens. It's anybody's game, like I said. It just is. Moving along here, man. Hey, listen, I don't know if you guys have heard about this. Kind of an interesting story to me. Like I always say, I read and it kind of struck me, and I was thinking, wow, really? Now, apparently in California, you can't discriminate against someone based on their age. You can't discriminate based on their age and how their job performance is going. Because Amazon, apparently a group had gotten together and they filed a lawsuit against Amazon for age discrimination. And in California, that's a big no-no. You can't discriminate against someone because of their age. And what this lawsuit alleged is that Amazon had discriminated against those older employees in the 49 on up age range. Well, that's me. Good thing I don't work for Amazon in California, apparently. But the lawsuit was thrown out. The magistrate threw it out and said she couldn't find any age discrimination whatsoever for those 49 and up. Because what the lawsuit alleged is that Amazon has a policy of work productivity. You're supposed to move, I believe they said 150, however they measure it, 150 up per hour, as far as 100 to 300 items per hour when you're working. And apparently they were saying this lawsuit alleges that those 49 and up were discriminated against by however either they were let go or maybe their hours were reduced. So apparently if you were 49 on up and you're in the state of California working for Amazon and you couldn't produce by moving 150 to 300 items an hour, however many times that is per shift, you were let go or your hours were cut. So a lawsuit was filed. But the judge came and the magistrate came and said, no, there's no discrimination. I got to kind of agree with that judge. I know that, if you know what Amazon does, this was at the warehouses. This wasn't, online or whatever, little sitting in the office, clicking it and verifying orders or whatever. This was at the warehouse. And if you ever done warehouse work or you know somebody that's done warehouse work, it's fast paced. It moves. No time for the sluggish or the weak or the weary. You got to move. So apparently Amazon set the standards that whatever each of their employees, regardless of their age, they got to move 150 to 300 items per hour, however many times, like I said, within a shift. And I guess if you couldn't, your hours were cut or you were let go. Now Amazon fired back and said that's absurd. Our workers or our employees are allowed to take bathroom breaks or just breaks in general whenever they feel like it, as long as they could get that meet that criteria of that 150 to 300 items per minute. And apparently that wasn't enough for those that filed that lawsuit. But the lawsuit was thrown out. The judge said no way, no how. Got to kind of agree with that judge. I mean, you're doing warehouse work. You just are. If you're hired to do warehouse work, whether it be Amazon or whatever or what have you, they have a certain standard. They have criteria that must be met in order for you to keep being employed. So going in, 49 and up. I guess if you couldn't perform, yeah, you would let go, or your hours would cut. I probably would have been let go. These old bones, these old bones. 49 on up, man, that's me. That's why when everybody was on the Amazon thing, the hours, you get the pay is great. I was like, nah, I can't do warehouse work. Hell, I'm barely here holding on with retail work. Man, like I said, warehouse work is a different beast. It's fast paced, steady moving. And what another thing that came out was, of course, there's another lawsuit that's brewing in California also with someone or a labor union has came forward and filed a lawsuit because apparently Amazon once again let some folks go or are planning to let some folks go because they couldn't perform. And this lawsuit, it has to do with the work, more specifically the physicality of the work, the bending, the twisting, or whatever, what have you. And apparently there were some more employees that couldn't keep up. I mean, like I said again, you're doing warehouse work. You got to be in shape. And if you can't keep up and you were hired, I mean, chances are they are going to let you go. I don't mean to sound heartless, but that's the reality of this world we live in. If you're hired to do a specific job, you should know going in, and they explain it to you during the interview process, I gather, or maybe the first day on the job. But I think they'd probably explain that back in the interview process to make sure this is what you really and truly wanted to do, and there were no exceptions on their end. So you knew going in what was expected of you, what you were hired to do, your performance. I'm not sure if that lawsuit is going to net a victory. Amazon, I mean, hey, who doesn't know what Amazon is about by now? Like I said, I can remember when Amazon first popped on the scene, everybody was going and saying, hey, the pay is great, you get all the hours you want. But soon thereafter, I heard some gripes and grumblings, and they were like, man, that's warehouse work. That ain't easy. Yeah. Pay sounded good. Hours. But it's time to put boots to the ground. A lot of people can't perform. Not making light of that, but once again, you knew going in or shortly thereafter. So we'll see what happens with that second lawsuit that is going on with Amazon. Amazon certainly has been in the news as of late. They're having to lay people off. They're having to close some of their manufacturing sites. The economy, now it appears to be their labor standards and practices is being called into play. We'll see what happens with that. We will see what happens with that. Man, all right, let's move along here also. Man, Haiti's back in the news. Back here last summer, of course, they were in the news first for the assassination on the president, and then the assassination attempt on his wife also. Masked missionaries from other South American countries. Apparently it was a hit. There's still no word on that. They still haven't said who came up with the hit. There was speculation that it was certain members of that president's cabinet, but these masked, trained missionaries stormed the palace, end up shooting the president however many times with a long gun. They tried to kill his wife, but she survived. Now apparently they're back in the news again. And this time with the gang violence also, because also last summer, if you guys remember, there were I did a couple of podcasts about this when those Haitian people were trying to come into the United States. They were escaping the gang violence and the economy down there. But now it appears it's came up that the Haitian gangs are back at it or are continuous with their doing. Apparently 10 officers have been killed within the last week. So some Haitian police officers themselves are protesting. They're blocking off roads. They're burning tires to block roadways. And they're protesting. They're saying, hey, we need some help down here, and we need some help quick. Now, the United Nations apparently has stepped in. Or, wait, let me rephrase that. Finally, some semblance of possibly peeking in on Haiti. The United Nations has suggested sending a strike force to help the officers to deal with these violent gangs. Yeah, we all remember the gangs. I believe it was the Moswato gang, or whatever, what have you. The gang leader that was threatening to when those Christian missionaries from Ohio had got kidnapped. He got on the TV, got on the internet, and said, "Hey, if they don't give us X amount of dollars, we're going to kill them." And apparently, the Haitian gangs ain't did nothing. Well, the missionaries, Christian missionaries here from the United States, they somehow, some way escaped in the dark of the night, and they're back on U.S. soil. That came sometime last year, also. So, the Haitian gangs now. I shouldn't say now, but they're continuing. Apparently, they turned their grievances to the police, because that was one of the big things last summer. Also, a lot of the Haitian citizens and residents were saying that not only are they being attacked, but the police are being attacked. And now it appears that the police are fed up and they're protesting, and maybe they're fighting back. Because, like I said, they're blocking off the roadways. They're blocking off intersections, of course, with cars, and they're burning tires. And they're on the news also telling the tale of what's going on. And the UN is now saying, hey, maybe we need to send a strike force down there to calm things down. I don't think the UN will be sending a strike force. If you know anything about the UN, and if you know anything about the UN and Haitian relations, it's pretty much they're doing what they do. We'll just sit back and observe. Same way with the United States. Haiti, by the way, is the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. And apparently, those gangs, I mean, when you just sit back and observe certain places in this world, and you allow things to fester and grow, this is the end result. So the UN has said that they quite possibly will send a strike force. I don't think so. They're just going to sit back and continue to observe. How long will we continue to observe the melee in Haiti? It appears it might just, I would say it's getting worse. But what's worse than armed foreign militant missionaries coming into your country in the dark of night and killing your president at the bequest, possibly, of certain members or a member of his own cabinet? What's worse than that? And now you got the Haitian gangs that have been there. They're trying to put their mark their territory, if I could say that. It's a continuation of Haiti. Haiti, for whatever reason, like I questioned last summer, why is it that it's so disregarded and ignored when it comes to stepping in and helping out to preserve peace, like we do here in the United States and the United Nations, like they do in other parts of the world? Maybe Haiti doesn't have any financial gain. I mean, it is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Who knows? We'll see what happens with this, because it certainly is interesting. It's heating up. We'll see what happens. Wow. Yeah, 10 police officers have been killed by these gangs. We'll see what the UN does. Maybe they will send a strike force in to help. I can rest assured when I say it's certainly needed, and it will be welcomed by those Haitian citizens and the police officers also. Will there quite possibly, and this has happened in many countries throughout the world, and even in South American countries here on this side of the globe, where the gangs and the police, they duke it out. It still goes on to this day. Just like in Mexico with the drug lords or the drug cartels and the police. So this appears to be what happens in South American and now Caribbean countries as well. Or maybe this has been going on, like I said, and we're just now getting wind of it, or it's just now getting the media attention that it needs, and quite possibly should have always gotten. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. All right, let's go get it. Now, like I always tell you, I'm always reading, I'm always researching, and I'm always finding some interesting topics, if I can say that. I wanted to do something different for the past 3 or 4, or ever since I got on YouTube. I've been up here screaming and hollering and wagging my finger at diplomacy, democracy, or the what I feel the lack thereof, or the one-sidedness of politics as it relates to Democrat and Republicans, conservative and liberals. So I said to myself, man, these folks on YouTube are going to think I'm nuts. I'm a conspiracy theorist or something. So I said, well, I got to find something not soft, but something that will, hey, make you think. After all, the name of this podcast is This Is Just a Thought. So I found an article that got me to thinking that, man, times really have changed. What is called lab-grown meats quite possibly could be, here in the United States, it's already here, by sometime this year. They're hoping, planning for it to be available for human consumption, not just in the restaurants, but even in your grocery store. Lab-grown meats. Well, apparently this is the this is the process or how it's developed. So this quite possibly could be at your table or your dinner table sometime in the near future this year. Think it can't happen? It's already in Singapore, and it has been approved in Singapore for retail sale. So if you're thinking to yourself that lab-grown meat, it'll never come to the United States, think again. There's a company in California that is trying to get that FDA approval because they're saying they already have it. So apparently what they're also saying, this company is also saying, well, let me explain how it's developed. Let me do that first. Because what happens is, I guess they take the cells from living animals, and somehow or another it's placed in this vat where it grows, it matures, and then you have the meat. Wow. So you're taking cells from animals, you're putting it in I guess under a petri dish or a vat or a vessel where it's somehow, some way grown, and then it is produced. That's a no for me. I'm sorry. Call me old-fashioned, but if you gotta get some cells and somehow, some way develop some meat for me to consume, they're talking about the staples, the beef steaks and the chicken. I think they're moving forward faster with the chicken. Wow. Now this is the real name is called cultivated meat or lab-grown meat, and its marketing mantra is that it's slaughterous meat. It's grown in what is called vessels, and with these bioreactors that help it grow and mature and it's spat out, I guess. Now this this California company that specializes in this type of cultivated meat or slaughterless meat is of course, they're saying they need some more investors, and they're hoping, apparently they got these investors lined up, because they're saying by the sometime this year, in the near future, it's going to be available for human consumption, not just in restaurants but in grocery stores also. So they got the process down packed, and they're saying, hey, we can we can produce not just chicken but beef steaks also, and it is for human consumption. Like I said, Singapore has already started. They've already got it in the grocery stores. Wow. I for one. I'm not too sure about that. I don't think I'll be jumping on that. I don't think I'll be waiting to see what happens and then make a decision. I can flat out tell you that's a no for me. Anything lab grown like that is I'm supposed to eat. Like I said, call me old fashioned, but I mean, hey, I don't know about that. But the times have changed, and this isn't the first time I've heard about it, and I don't know if this is the first time you've heard about it because it's been talked, kicked around, and theorized for years. But it appears it's here. It's going down. It's going to happen. Now, they're saying, of course, the way it's processed, it tastes like real meat. I'll take your word for it. I'll just take your word for it. I don't think I'll ever find out if it does taste like real meat. And of course, like I said, they're waiting on the FDA, but like I said, also more importantly, they're waiting on more investors to fund this process of producing and getting this cultivated meat to your dinner table or your table when you go to a restaurant. Wow, that's a bit too much for me. That's a bit too much for me. I know times are changing. I know the world is forever evolving. I know they're trying and doing new things, but that's a no for me. I won't be consuming that. I just won't. This is a different world. I get it, got it, understand it. But that's a huge no for me. I just can't see or fathom the notion of consuming lab-grown meat. That you took this, you took the cells from a living animal, and somehow, some way, you developed a process where you can develop lab-grown meat fit for human consumption, and what is called vacs or vessels, and those are those big metal tubes or whatever, and it interacts with a bioreactor, and I guess it zaps the cells, and the meat is formed. Sounds delicious. That's a no for me. That's a no for me, man. This world is just it's going in a completely opposite direction from which us old fogies are used to. Looks like. Just is. Like I said, once that Cali company, once they get those investors up, and of course that FDA approval, it's open season, and they're ready. They said they're ready to do it and do it big. I wonder how this is going to be regulated. I would think it will be regulated to the point that we will be given the option to buy and consume this as opposed to just putting it out and not telling anyone. I'm also interested, how does the human body digest this? Haven't heard anything. There hasn't been any reports on that. And hey, those in Singapore, man, I wonder how they're what's their thinking. Haven't heard any or seen any data on if those residents in Singapore or they approve or they don't. But apparently it's available there also. We'll see. We will see, man. That's a no for me. It's no way in the world. No way in the entire world I'm going to eat that. I'll try anything once, but I won't be trying that ever. No. And like I said, I hope the FDA or whatever, what have you, I hope they clearly will regulate this and hey, give people the choice. Just don't throw it out there, and then years from now, down the road, we found that it's been out there mixed with our real meat, and we have some health problems as a result of this. I wonder if they looked into that, the side effects of this. Maybe it's something that could quite possibly, the human body could digest it well. We'll see. Still haven't heard anything about that. Haven't been able to find anything on that. Yeah. Lab-grown meat or cultivated meat. Different world we are living in. Different world we are living in. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Time for me to skedaddle. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, this is, of course, Black History Month. And I am, it's not etched in stone, but I'm moving towards, it's going to happen. I got to make it happen. I will do a podcast series for Black History Month. It won't be Black history. It's more or less going to deal with the future of Black America. And I want to encompass everyone from all walks of life. When I first started, this is just a thought. Of course, I wanted it to be, of course, a common man's perspective on the day's events and what's going on around us. And I also wanted it to be where I would have common folks, regular everyday folks, that get up, get out, and go get it. Working, school, entrepreneurs, whatever, or what have you. So, as opposed to talking about the past Black history, which, of course, hey, it does need to be discussed. For far too long, it's been ignored and pushed aside. But I think I could do a better service by talking about the future of Black America and what people think the future is, how it looks for us as Black Americans. So that's going to be coming soon. Hey, I hope you guys will enjoy it. I'm certainly looking forward to doing it. I just am, just to sit down and rap a taste to some regular old folks, young and old, because I'll be doing it hopefully with some college kids, maybe even some high school kids. That is the future. On a day-to-day basis, I'm constantly reminded that I'm an old fogey. I just got to be honest with you. I'm constantly reminded that times is moving forward and I got to keep up with it. Because there's a lot of things, just like that last story I told you about that lab-grown meat. I didn't see that coming. Even though I heard about it, I just said to myself, wow, that'll never happen. Nobody's going to eat that. Nobody's going to try to develop that. That's just some mess they're just thinking about or theorizing about. But apparently, sometime this year in 2023, it's going to be here. Quite possibly could be on some of you, if you guys elect to, some of you guys' dinner plate. So yeah, as it relates, like I said, I'll be talking to multiple people about the future of Black America as opposed to the past. I think it's going to be a very interesting podcast series. I hope it is. I'm certainly going to enjoy it. It's like I tell folks, if you're not open to learning on a daily basis, then you won't learn squat. You'll just be left aside, forgotten about. Just will. All right. Well, that's all for me today, and I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to follow and listen, support, and share on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public, Verbal, and WordPress, and now YouTube. Get in that comment section. Let me know, yay or nay. Hey, I'm pretty thick-skinned. I won't get upset. I will not get upset. Trust me. Hey, I've heard it all. And also on YouTube, and not only YouTube, but wherever you are streaming, hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. And as always, thank you for listening. This is Stephen Carnegie for This Is Just a Thought. Amen.